how did your passion for science started? I'm very interested to hear that because you've mentioned that you've been involved in so many different activities and so on. So, how did you make that choice for yourself?
I was involved in so many activities because school for me was easy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would get like a B or a C occasionally, but I knew that my end grade for the semester or the year would be an A.
Mm-hmm.
So that was fine. Um, I was really good at chemistry. I really loved biology. The way biology was taught to me was learning things by heart.
Mm-hmm.
So I loved the lessons, but I didn't like the way we were like
Mm-hmm.
required to learn stuff. And then physics, oh my God, I was so bad at physics and I loved that subject so much. So actually, when I decided to follow that dream, I quit dancing in like 10th grade, and the money from dancing uh, started going to physics lessons.
Mm-hmm.
So I was lucky to have the best physics teacher. Like he was so engaging in class. Everyone just loved him. Um, and I started to understand physics, not to the level of depth I would want to, but
Mm-hmm.
um, well enough to excel in class. So maybe the time where I started liking a lot physics was when we were learning thermodynamics. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember I would get a B for the semester, and my teacher told me that if I solve the whole like chapter problems from the book with problems, he would uh, mark me as A, as excellent grade. So that was probably 40 or 50 problems. It was so many like problems to solve.
Uh,
And I was alone trying to figure it out. And just because I was trying to figure them out on my own, I solved one of them like 10 times until I got the answer. I learned that like chapter so well and I loved it so much. It was in the end of June. I live close to the beach, so I was on the beach with my family. I was collecting my papers from the water. But it was so fun. And then I don't know what happened, but I got really interested in meteorology and
nice.
how tornadoes form, because
Mhm.
tornadoes are super cool and they're super interesting. I know they're like natural disasters, but they're super cool,
Yes,
right?
they're very fascinating. Yeah.
So I started reading a lot about them, the physics behind them, and that's how I was like, huh, maybe I'll study meteorology when I yeah. And after that, when the astronaut thing came around, I knew that it had to be something in STEM, like
Mhm.
science, technology,
Mhm.
engineering. I was considering becoming a military pilot for the Bulgarian Air Force, but
Wow.
I'm still considering it here, but when I was graduating, we reached out to the director of the academy and wanted to check, like, am I gonna fly immediately? Am I gonna fly in my last year? How are the
Mhm.
resources? So I chose to study engineering physics because that was the hardest major in Sofia University in the physics
Mhm.
faculty. But then it wasn't my thing at all. And even the engineering physics here in the States is more space oriented. Now I study aerospace engineering, and my track is in rocket propulsion. So I'm super excited to like get into my junior and senior year and finally have those special classes with like space propulsion and spacecraft systems. And I see from my friends and my boyfriend that it's super hard, like so hard. But I'm super excited because I really want to learn more. And I have really annoying classes right now, but I have to push through them.
Interesting. So, obviously, this is how you got yourself into science and stuff. But another question I have is like, what fascinated you specifically in space? Like, why being an astronaut?
As I said, I like pushing to the limits. I think
Mhm.
that astronaut is the only profession in the world where you can like hit your limits mentally and physically.
Mhm.
Um, but I know that we as human beings, we have a certain like lifeline,
Mhm.
and all of us have expiration date, and we don't know when that expiration date is coming. I'm like literally okay with dying on Mars if that happens.
Nice.
It's gonna come one day. Yeah. My mom is very scared. She's like, I first want grandchildren, and after that, you can go to Mars. Um,
Mhm.
I know that we've been like pushing so much, like trying to break through, and we're still not that far away in like in the
Mm-hmm.
cosmos. But
Mm-hmm.
Mars is a really interesting planet because in the past it looked like Earth. So Mars is
Mm-hmm.
fascinating me a lot, and I really like the moon of Saturn, Titan, because there is a liquid
Mm-hmm.
methane there. But specifically for Mars, Earth is gonna look like Mars one day. So studying Mars is gonna give us a lot of answers for the process that are gonna happen with our planets, and that's a goal that's like you're committing and dedicating yourself to a very high goal that it's gonna have results in the future generations after you. So Mars specifically, in the past, it had like oceans, rivers, it had atmosphere, magnetic field. Now it has really weak atmosphere, like so weak magnetic field. So there's a lot of radiation, which prevents it from like having, like life. Mars is in the habitable zone, so it's very interesting to see that we as humans are actually, if there weren't any radiation levels, we would be able to live there because the temperatures during the day can go up to 20 degrees Celsius, and at night they can go even to negative 50 Celsius. But there are people in Russia and Siberia who live and like are adapted to those temperatures. So we as humans, we are capable of surviving that, right? So I always say that I would definitely take a commercial space flight if I had the opportunity, but I really want to be part of a big mission and work on the ISS and do experiments or go to the moon because we're going to colonize the moon so that we can create a launch pad for a rocket that's going to take us to Mars. And it's very wild. People think I'm
Yeah.
crazy, but once I came into this college, I realized that everyone thinks like that. Like we all here want to go to space or build rockets or fly planes. So